Ha! They say when you go from living with your parents to living alone, meals are the most immediate issue. This was a prime example. Our household's dinner menu comprised of whatever cheap ingredients my mother could find at the grocery store that night. In that moment, it really made me appreciate what I had. Truly, these lackluster meals were wearing on me mentally. I wasn't used to eating alone, but that was just the tip of the iceberg. I could just eat out every meal. Toast, salad, scrambled eggs and milk. These meals where I could only look forward to nutrients and calories, the sort they'd give to prisoners, were so lackluster. It was chipping away like crazy at my mental well-being. Maybe this really was the underlying cause of my awful dreams. It was past 9 at night. Peek. Didn't spot anyone out in the hallway or foyer. I didn't see Akane-chan, who I'd been talking to until earlier, either. She must have gone back to her own room. 10 p.m. was lights out at this dorm. It wasn't strictly enforced, but 10 p.m. was the recommended time, and everyone stopped hanging out in the common areas around 9 p.m. That was a strict time for girls in their prime who wanted to have fun, but also... I wish the shops would also close at 10 instead. Both the convenience store and cafe closed before 9 o'clock. I couldn't wrangle together any food. It's great that everything was so orderly around here, and that they were all the early to bed, early to rise types who got up at 6 a.m. every morning to exercise. Huh. This was totally harsh psychologically. This time of day at the school. Wasn't this a pure negative as far as I was concerned? For me, my golden time lay elsewhere. Ah, I was starving. Going without lunch was catching up to me now. My burning appetite, combined with that lackluster dinner, began to run rampant past 9 at night. The convenience store was already closed, but maybe I could try sneaking grabbing something. I could leave even the money behind. Nah, I'd better play it safe. If I got caught, then I wouldn't just be a commoner or a wild animal, but a criminal. No choice but to behave myself. All I could do was to ignore my empty stomach and close my eyes. Ignore my growling stomach. Ignore the growling. Grr, 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 grr. It's no use! I'm going to lose my mind. I opened my eyes. This psychological fatigue might be worse than I thought. What a pain. There was no satisfying my stomach at this point, so I'd have to find a distraction. I rummaged through the cardboard boxes I hadn't yet put away. And this was... Batman Ramen. The manufacturer, Oyatsu Company, released this limited edition, regular-sized Batman Ramen about a year ago. I'm glad I bought it, but I was saving it for a special occasion and it ended up getting buried. I didn't remember bringing it with me. The sell-by date was looking a bit dicey, but silly concepts like expiration dates were meaningless in my current predicament. There were cup noodles here. What were cup noodles good for if you didn't eat them then? Even though it was past its sell-by date, which was a waste on its own considering it was a limited time deal, I didn't care. But there was one problem. How would I get hot water? I didn't have any. Burners and cutlery were banned in the dorm rooms. Not only was there no communal kitchen, but there was no electric kettle either. There was no way for me to prepare hot water. To hell with it, better just pour water over it. I'm sure there are those who know this already, but cup noodles are made with water. The one issue was that it would get soggy due to the time it would take to absorb the water, but it wouldn't affect the flavor itself. Given the current state of affairs, shoveling noodles into my gullet would at least be some form of guaranteed pleasure. It would take 3 minutes with hot water, so 15 minutes was probably a safe bet. Was it ready yet? Was it ready yet? I thought I heard a sudden rap on my window. My curtains were still closed due to the radio calisthenics incident, and I opened them to find... Oh? Who's that? Huh? A girl came in through my window. Huh? What?
あなたが市松往路でよろしくて
Yeah.
みすぼらしい男ですわね。こんな男のどこを気に入ったのかしら。
After all the snide comments everyone had been making under their breath today, I actually didn't mind being insulted straight to my face. A foreigner? She was tiny, but maybe related to Sylvie?
ちょっとおいでくださいませ。あなたごときには大変恐れ多い方のお誘いですわ。
Whoa, hey! She tugged my hand. I was going to drop the Batman. She kept on tugging, so all I could do was obediently follow after her. This is. We avoided the fences and headed toward the hills at the rear of the academy. I could see the lake adjacent to the main school building. It was a field by the shore.
どうかされまして?
No. I remembered this place. This was where I once played and camped out at before these grounds eventually turned into a school. It was at the edge of the lake, which was so massive that it produced waves and sounded like the ocean. I had been here a long time ago. I visited this place countless times, enough to be sick of it. Even so, I never felt that way. Because she was with me.
あら、こっちこっち。
Oh, it was you, Sylvie. I figured she was involved and found her waiting on the hillside. Does that mean she's with you then?
ええ、ありがとうみな。オーロを呼んできてくれて。いえ。
Is she Sylvie's little sister, maybe?
本当なら私が行くところなんだけど、この服でしょ？お忍び。
It's been a while since you've gotten all dressed up. That was the same dress she wore when we first met. The sort of outfit princesses wore in folk tales, and damn did it look good on her.
制服でもよかったのだけど、やっぱり清掃すべきでしょ？お茶会を楽しむなら。
Oh. I had noticed, but she had set up a complete tea set by the shore. There were cups made of fine china and a silver tea kettle, all polished and shimmering to perfection. The table was draped with a cloth so white it looked radiant in the dark of night, and the sweet aroma from the various desserts had already found its way to me. What's all of this for? I feigned calmness while my stomach went through a bout of intense desire.
お茶会のお誘いや。オーロ、お昼は来てくれなかったんだもの。
Ah, making up for that, huh?
本当は帰ってすぐにしたかったんだけど、この国の官房長官って人が会いたいって言うから遅くなっちゃったの。エルの目を盗んでくるのは大変だったわ。
You snuck out?
ええ。
She said innocently. I hoped she wouldn't get me chased by those black-suited guards again.
みんな夜間の外出なんて許してくれないんだもの。今日はミナが協力してなんとか抜けてこられたわ。ありがとう、ミナ。いえ、 エロイナたちが来ないか見張ってますわ。言っておきますけど、30分くらいで切り上げてくださいましね。はーい。
Mina turned around and headed toward the road. She was apparently going to keep an eye out for us.
厳しいの。でも30分いただけたわ。ね、オーラ。
Sure. I took my seat at Sylvie's urging. There were no aides around, so Sylvie served my tea personally. Amph. Nom 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 nom. Nibble. But for me, the pastries took priority over the tea. I shoved troves of cookies, muffins, and the like into my gullet.
あらあら。お腹空いていたの？
Hungry for flavor. Sweet. My stomach found the chocolate chips, nuts, and other fats a delight.
よかった。さすがにもう夕ご飯の後だからお菓子はいらないかなって思ったんだけど、一応用意しておいて。
They're incredible. Thank you, Sylvie. As usual, Sylvie was grinning from ear to ear and appeared to be in her own little world.
その食欲ならこれも持ってきて正解だったわね。じゃーん。はい、オーラ。約束のメロンパンよ。
Ah, the melon bread she mentioned yesterday. Given my current excitement, I was genuinely grateful. Let's give it a taste. Nom nom. Mmm.
ね、美味しいでしょ？美味しいでしょ？
It's ordinary.
あら？
It was exceptionally plain, ordinary melon bread. It tasted like it was made out of cookie batter and was a touch heavier than what the off-the-shelf variety used. It did leave an extravagant impression, with coarse sugar sprinkled over it and all, but loaves like these are fairly common. The premium melon bread fad had mostly passed. This variety also wasn't really my cup of tea. Cookie batter was too heavy, not really suited for melon bread, you could say.
さすがは美食大国日本ね。このレベルがありふれてるなんて。
I see. Is melon bread that rare outside of Japan? Melon bread did seem to be a piece of Japanese culture. Sylvie mentioned she'd only just come to Japan in April, so premium melon bread like this might be new to her.
ええ。昔日本に来た時食べたもので一番覚えてるのがこのメロンパンの味なの。10年経ってこんなに進化したんだって感動しちゃったわ。
Sylvie, you've been to Japan before?
ええ、行ったじゃない。あの音楽堂とか。
Oh. She wasn't explicit about it, but I guess she had hinted at it off and on since we first met.
ソルティレージと日本はかなり親交が深いのよ。王族なら一度は来ているわ。私は10年前ね、この町に来てた。よくこの湖のそばで遊んでたわ。その時できたお友達と一緒に食べたのがこのメロンパン。100円ですごく大きなのが買えるでしょ。それを分けて食べるの。美味しかったな。
Sylvie said in a reminiscent tone. A slightly melancholic expression crossed this beautiful princess's face, who looked back nostalgically on old times. I wished I could burn this rare sight into my retinas, but something about what she was said bothered me too much to keep focused. 10 years ago?
実は進学先をノーブル学園に決めたの。学園がどうのじゃないの。この湖の近くっていうのが気に入っただけなのよ。
Princesses sure do lead exhilarating lifestyles.
すごく偏差値の高い学校だと聞いて慌てて必死に勉強したわ。
Though she would need a certain degree of intellect as a member of royalty, I did think it would take intense study for a school of Noble Academy's caliber. But I see. Sylvie came to the city a decade ago. she played by this lake? Just like I had. But nah, it would be hasty to assume we had met somewhere just for that reason. This lake was crazy huge, so there was no telling where on this shore she may have played.
ねえほら、ノーブル学園はどう？答えるのはそのリスさんみたいにパンパンな口の中をどうにかしてからでいいわ。
She took the topic in another direction before hearing the answer to what had intrigued her.
私のわがままで生活を急に変えちゃったでしょ。改めて考えてみるとどうだったのかなって。特にノーブル学園は勉強が大変だそうだから。
Nga. I washed my food down with tea. Well, I guess the schoolwork is a little insane. After 2 days of classes, I realized that I didn't know much of anything. Not to worry though, I won't be held back, mostly due to all the tests being multiple choice. It wouldn't happen as long as I used my intuition to make decent choices anyway.
それは勉強もした方がいいと思うけど。でもじゃあ学園でのことは特に問題なし？
Yeah. It appeared that Sylvie was unaware of my social status in class or the less than stellar atmosphere at the dorm. In which case, that's right. Better stop complaining, it would only make her worry. I did plenty of research, and graduating from Noble Academy is apparently enough to find some ridiculously lucrative employment in the future. So, I'm grateful to you, Sylvie. If I work my hardest and avoid being held back, I can become a steady civil servant down the line.
さあ。
Not that I particularly wanted to be a civil servant. Still, it was true I was now blessed with better than an idle lifestyle. Yes. I wasn't fading into the twilight, but shining brilliantly on my own. This was supposed to be a wonderful time which benefited my future, a fortunate environment, if you will. It was my golden time. That's why I'm grateful to you, Sylvie. Being thanked directly must have made her shy, as an uneasy-looking grin appeared on her face. I'd never seen this face before. How cute. Alright, there was something I wanted to ask you too. Why did you invite me to this school?
それは。
I know it was because I was in trouble, but having me transfer here out of nowhere was a little unreasonable. I assumed it was the sort of idea a princess, one detached from the world, might come up with, but our recent interactions over the last couple of days would suggest that she wasn't without common sense. Even in that situation, she could have hypothetically used security footage in town to prove my innocence, or a number of other methods. And most notably, you also seem to be aware that it was on your own whim, too. She had made it perfectly clear earlier. This transfer wasn't 100% for my benefit, it was partially of her own volition. And if that were the case, I wanted to know why.
ね。
Sylvie gave me a strained, embarrassed smile.
ゴールデンタイムかな。
Huh? That was an unexpected answer. Not only had I not expected that sort of reply, I definitely hadn't expected her to use that phrase I had just heard earlier today.
私にとってはね、日本はこの街はゴールデンタイムなの。小さい頃本当に楽しかったわ。当時は国がごたごたしていて、日本へ来たのはバカンスのようなものだったのだけれど、そこで出会ったお友達との時間、あのゴールデンタイムは一生忘れられない。でもね、またそうなると思ってノーブル学園に入ったのに、全然退屈なの。
She puffed her cheeks up sourly.
勉強で遊ぶ時間はないし、外出もろくにできないし、何より学校の子たちみんなよそよそしいの。友達になってくれるのなんて レーナとあと数人くらい。
Yeah, everyone's being super considerate of you. They were all high-class men and women, so it made sense why they would be reserved around someone of a higher status than themselves. Kikuchiyo felt out of place in class for that exact reason, as their oddly attentive behavior was due to his family's high-ranking status at the academy. A commoner like myself didn't really care about status or rank, since I was in a league of my own.
昔はそんなことなかったわ。私のこと金髪なのがちょっと目立ってはいたけど、日本の子たちは一緒になって遊んでくれたわ。
Children didn't seem to be sensitive to such matters.
懐かしいな。あの子たち今はどうしてるのかしら。まどかくん、よしみちゃん、名前まで覚えてる子はもうあまりいないけど、会いたいな。いちにも。
Ichi?
特に仲の良かったお友達よ。すごく面倒見が良くて、当時まだ日本語がいまいちだった私のことすごく気にかけてくれた。メロンパンも彼に勧められたわ。うまく喋れないのは腹に力が入ってないからだ、食えって。お腹いっぱいになってもうまく喋れないのを不思議がってたっけ。
Not the brightest kid, huh? So, about that. Ichi. I knew someone with that nickname. Or maybe I should say...
だからずっとモヤモヤしてて、せめて思い出にあるメロンパンを食べれば何か昔みたいなことが起こるかもって思ったの。それでまさにオールを見つけたわ。楽しかった。メロンパンより何十倍も素敵だった。また昔に戻ったみたいだった。だからオールに近くにいてほしかったの。オールは私にとって2度目のゴールデンタイムなのよ。
I see. It did sound like she had genuinely high hopes for me, if nothing else. Even if it amounted to nothing more than a princess killing time. It was more than enough to know that I was needed. Golden time, meaning an optimal moment?
最高の時間という意味よ。最適な時間はいつでも最高の時間でしょ。
For sure. I had thought the same earlier.
それにね、あれは本当にゴールデンタイムだったの。見て、オーラ。
Huh? She showed me her hand. I had noticed it before, mostly because she ordinarily didn't wear the full getup, but there was a ring on her left ring finger. A golden ring. Did you get married?
まさか婚約指輪じゃないわよ。
That was a small relief.
エルやみんなには言わないでね。薬指にしてることが知れるとものすごく怒られるの。
I bet they would. It wasn't entirely likely it would cause engagement rumors to spread about a princess.
だからここにできるのは今みたいな他に気の許せる子しかいない時間だけ。それに私の気持ちでは婚約指輪でもいいわ。初恋の人とやりとりした指輪なんだもの。
Huh?
昔この町で交換したの。私の大切な初恋の人と。
Well, I wonder who that might have been. Her first love in this city.
オーラ、オローラって知ってる？
Huh? What's that?
指輪の名前、オローラというの。持つ者に素敵な時間を与えるという不思議な言い伝えのある言葉なのよ。
Oro Ora? I felt like I had heard a similar name somewhere before.
もうこらオーラ、何言わせるのよ、恥ずかしい。オーラって変に空気が軽いから初恋のお話なんてしちゃった。恥 恥ずかしい。ほら、それより食べましょう。30分しかないお茶会なんだから。
Sure.
ねえ、ところでさっきから気になってたんだけど、それカップラーメンというやつよね。
Oh, yeah.
いただきまーす。
Don't grab. I guess that's okay.
おいしい。
The princess was happily slurping on soft, soggy instant noodles in her seat at her impromptu tea party. She really was a bizarre princess. Something told me I'd met a girl just as odd as she was a long time ago. If I remembered correctly, her Japanese was quite stilted. She had golden hair and she had called herself a princess or something. Ah, you eating it all? Hold on a sec, Sylvie. That Batman ramen was from a special limited time promotion and I can't get it anymore. Save me at least a bite.
もう遅いでほー。
Arg! This princess sure can show down. What the heck's with her? Come on, give it back. It's mine.
おっと。
I reached out, but she quickly evaded my grasp. Ack.
ひょいっとな。
Where did those cat-like reflexes come from?
私、護身術兼日本文化研究のために柔道を習ってたこともあるの。
Damn it, this girl's brainier and brawnier than she looks.
なんといっても逃げるという行為において私は日々鍛えられているのよ。毎日 L を出し抜いて遊ぶことばかり考えているのだもな。
姫様、やけに早くベッドに入ったと思ったので調べたら、案の定布団の中身がいつものマネキンに変わっていました。何をしているのです、こんな夜遅くに。夜遅くに出歩かない、夜遅くに間食をしない、私の許可なく特定の殿方には会いに行かない。この一瞬でどれだけ私との約束を破ったかお分かりですか？それはカップラーメンですか？
違うの、これはそのオールがどうしても私に食べてほしいって。
What? That's underhanded.
市松殿、
You've got the wrong idea. She asked me to come here.
分かっております。貴公のこれまでを見れば、こんなことをしでかすのはシルビー様だと。
Phew.
しかしシルビー様が無茶なことを言ったら止めていただかなくては困ります。腕を取りますよ。
So, mind telling me how severe my punishment going to be?
ミナはどうしたのかしら。見張りを任せたのに。 スマホゲーに課金しててエロいなを見落としましたわ。シルビー姉様、ようやく見つけましたわ。ダメじゃありませんの、勝手に部屋を抜け出して。あらエロいな、あなたも来たの？私もお姉様がまた抜け出してると気づいて今追ってきたところよ。
One-sama, hm? So she is Sylvie's little sister. Great personality on that one.
昔からああなのよ。
Wait, Ne-sama?
あら、言ってなかったかしら。ミナは私の妹、ソルティレージュの第10王女よ。カミナル・ル・プレティア・ソルティレージュ・シスア。お姉様がシルビーと呼ばせるなら私もミナで結構ですわ。
Carminal le Pultaya Sortilege Siswa, hm? Nice to meet you. She was royalty? They were both foreigners, but I hadn't realized she was her sister. They didn't look too similar if you ask me. Her hair was silver too.
にしてもお姉様は毎度ゲロをばかり気に入りますわね。あのレーナとかいう女も下品ですし。ミーナ、私の大事なお友達よ。んだ。
They seemed like close sisters. Ellison eventually gave me an earful and sent me home. I was kind of flustered by the whole ordeal. Oh well, I got to have some tasty sweets, so I was satisfied. Besides, golden time, huh? I'd said it to put on a tough front, but this very moment was. Maybe it would make it a bit less rough to think of it that way. I tidied up the box I had turned inside out to get to the Buttman. And in the process, whoops! A box fell out. By chance, it popped open and sent the Loveriche emblem swirling through the air again. I picked up the box. The box I had treasured since I was little. Had the name Orohora written across it.